In the late 1970s, most tourists were too frightened to set foot in Central Park. Today, it attracts 25 million visitors a year, second only to Times Square as the city's must-see outdoor attraction.
I love to ride my bike in the park. I love to walk in the park. I love to go around the reservoir, which is beautiful views of the park. It's spectacular.
The central feature of Central Park is its openness. I mean, you walk in there and you can't see one end to the other. It's special. It renews you.
Hudson came on a surprisingly small ship, the Half Moon. It was about 65 feet long. He sailed up north around Norway and hit some ice, and he was supposed to come back to Amsterdam, and instead he turned his ship around and he sailed all the way across the Atlantic, eventually into New York Harbor. And he saw the big Hudson River and he thought, aha, this might be it. This might be the way through to China.
They had found an incredibly rich land, very fertile, full of trees, which were valuable commodities, and even more important, fur-bearing animals.
Thank you for calling 311. Have a good evening. Every day, we receive over 50,000 calls about all kinds of city services. You name it, we've covered it. But now, getting the information you need just got easier through 311 online. Let's say you just lost your briefcase in a yellow taxi. Report lost property online.
And your report is sent directly to the Taxi and Limousine Commission.
You can even print a report for your own records.
One of my coworkers sits behind me, and he had, like I am me, he asked me a question, and I hadn't replied back in, let's say, a few minutes or a few seconds.
One of the people that works in the company called me out of the blue, and his only words to me were, "Naji just collapsed."
He said he saw me lying face down on the keyboard, and he said I was very blue. And at that point, he started yelling, call 911.
They said that it could just take time, so they said they'd like to initiate this cooling protocol.
Cooling is a technique that we use for patients who have a cardiac arrest when their heart stops. We're cooling the entire body. We want the patient's body and brain to get to a low temperature. When the brain does not get blood, brain cells start to die. When you cool someone, you stop that process.
When I came to New York, I just assumed that there were going to be jobs all over the place. I mean, I know that people are losing their jobs in droves, but I thought, you know what, I'm young and I'm fresh and, and I'm willing to work hard.
Certainly didn't think it was going to be easy. Yes, you do need a career and something to be proud of, but you also have student loans, you also have a cell phone, you also have rent, you also have basic human needs.
Even with degrees in journalism, the Berry twins never reject a job just because it sounds goofy.
Some of the odd jobs we have now, I dog walk here and there. I'm starting pedestrian counting. I think it's for a marketing company that wants to know how much traffic comes down the sidewalk. You just stand there and count people.
I think we just diversify our activities.
The influence of the old world is unmistakable on the New York dining scene. Think rustic Italian, Baroque French, and ornate Turkish. Some restaurants seem to take a step back in time while soaring into the future. The nostalgia of the old country is what this Eat Out New York is all about.
Believe me when I tell you that I dictate the mic, like Fidel does his nation. Keep it flowing like libation. Big head's the perfect target for decapitation. Cook rhymes till they al dente. Lock down the mic like El Presidente. Roll the mic like Fidel Castro. Roll the mic like Fidel Castro. Conquered more dips than the late Hannibal. Terrain gets too rough, I ride the beats like woolly mammals. Smoking like Joe Camel. Fatal when inhale. 007, but you still got tail. Q scrambling device must have failed.
Lucky for me, I found the man with the ultimate. That would be Chef Cesare Casella of Maremma Restaurant in New York. He calls it moonshine because it's made with fusilli pasta, tomato sauce, and bourbon. Cesare spent 43 obsessive days in a row perfecting the recipe and trying over 35 different cheeses from both his native Italy and the U.S. before he decided on
this Grana Padano.
So that's the cheese that we're using today in the moonshine fusilli pasta?
Yes.
Holy cow, that's heavy.
After a lifetime of neglect, 3 weeks ago, Oliver was unwashed, untrained, and frightened of the world. Today, he is starting to come out of his shell.
Oliver Oliver's progressing. He can take treats now, which I'm using in training, but he still has a lot of anxieties, and I have a lot of work to do.
With Oliver progressing on the stairs, Andrea introduces a new element to his training.
What I might try with Oliver today is called luring. Luring is where you hold a food reward in your hand and you sort of mold the behavior by moving your hand in the direction you want to get the dog's body where you want it to be. So if I want Oliver to sit, I'm going to take my hand, hold it gently over his head, and just lift up and back a little bit until his rear hits the ground. Yes.
Hey, there you go.
Oh, he's holding the bow now. It's too cute. Oh. Well, I think we found Oliver's trick. I think he likes to take a bow.
He does.
You think I'm lousy? I wear it as a badge of identity. He is left at the insistence of his mother as the man in the house when he really would like to be gone, gone, gone.
Everyone knew people who ended up on the street, literally living in an alley or in the shanty towns, and it was brutalizing times.
The significance of my album titled Growing Pains is accepting that there will be pain with growth and change. Growing Pains is about rapidly growing. There was a situation in my life where I broke through on an album called A Breakthrough during that time. And when I broke through, I found myself surrounded by very, very important people that thought I was more important than I believed I was.
Hey everybody, it's Matt Pinfield, and I'm coming to you from Detroit, Michigan at the DTE Energy Music Theater for this MySpace Live Project Revolution. Project Revolution is a tour that Linkin Park puts together every year, and this year they've got an incredible lineup. Julian K, Styles of Beyond, Taking Back Sunday, Him, Placebo, My Chemical Romance, Mindless Self-Indulgence.